Chris Beard goes to his bench. You'll see it tonight. There's no drop-off defensively. So the Wildcats will have their hands full in terms of their half-court offense.
K-State will get the first crack, and here's their lineup. And they have been helped by Cartier-Jada at the point. We talked about Wade. Mayween had a big game against TCU here in a career high. And Xavier Sneed, a good three-point alone. Sneed has big time from three. It's his 46th make of the year from bonus.
Well, Texas Tech will try to isolate you on the wing defensively, and Brown, who's an excellent driver, just smooth along the baseline, finds Sneed in the corner.
Sneed at 9 of his last 17 threes. And here's a look at the Texas Tech starting lineup. And what's the big deal about this? We'll talk about it. Are their seniors, led by Keenan Evans, Justin Gray. But these guys have been survivors. And now they're setting in the top 10, one of the top teams in the country. And Wade going to get a big on low.
I love the high-low with Wade. And one of the things that you appreciate about him, because he can shoot it from the perimeter, he does not settle. And they get him on the block there. You'll see Wade work the interior. That's where Bruce Weber thinks he has an advantage here tonight.
Culver missing from 3. But the last time Texas Tech ended up with Keenan Allen. Now Jada will try at 3 and has his own rebound. Chasing, he'll go to the line. Southern Illinois, Sweet 16 runs. Then he had a national title.
You like about Bruce Weber, really pays attention to detail. On defense, help-oriented, makes his players accountable for their individual assignments, and then the offensive end, they execute well. They cut hard, screen, the ball moves. Bruce Weber doing a really nice job with this K-State team as they've continued to improve and progress throughout this season.
Great look at the 3. Zaire Smith, only his 8th three-point make of the year. That's not his game, but he can do everything else. If he has that to his repertoire, look out.
Boy, just an impact from day one. What's interesting, Mitch, he has a high motor, and that has not been a deal where he's had to motivate this young man as a freshman.
Mayween with the crab dribble and the left-handed hook over Odiase, and K-State has had a terrific start.
And keep in mind with Mayween, Kansas State is 6-0 this season when he has scored 10 points or more. And Bruce Weber wants to continue to get him involved. What it also does is it's going to keep Texas Tech honest defensively, that K-State's not going to be afraid to throw it inside to him.
Odiase, great there in the void of the defense. Lawrence Odiase, a guy who's battled injury throughout his career at Tech, has his first 2.
See the spacing right there. 5-man motion from Texas Tech. And they do such a great job moving the ball side to side and getting that defense to shift and create those open looks.
Tech trying to settle in defensively here, and there's an illegal screen. Kansas has lost. West Virginia has lost. Oklahoma has lost, and they've got their hands full, Tech, because this K-State team is off to a great start. And how improved are the K-State Wildcats?
Much improved, and they have several guys that have been through the wars before. I think that's showing in guys like Wade.
Sneed and flushes it home.
Big 12 in steals, and what that allows you to do is get out and run. You see the skill level of this, Mitch, that he has had in his entire Kansas State career, and it has shown for the last 10 or 12 games.
And Brendan, he's doing everything right on both ends of the floor. Shoots it with range, plays at the rim, good defender. He brought the ball up against Javon Carter in West Virginia, and he's 6'10". State with a decent start defensively as well.
And that's what they want to do with all the cutting, the movement, especially away from the ball offensively from Texas Tech. Bruce Weber wants to make them a jump shooting team. So you've got to be careful getting out and pressuring too much on the perimeter. So far, they've done a nice job.
Wade off the extra, and Tech able to close out. What about Tech's defensive positioning? Because they were in the presence of Wade as he caught it 2 passes away.
Really good, sorry Mitch, defensive possession from Kansas State, as we were just talking about. Notice how they were keeping everything in front. Assignment, solid defense.
Got it all by themselves.
And a real opportunity to make a statement to the country. This is a really good Texas Tech team, and one that's probably not talked enough about. And they're terrific defensively at all positions. There's not a weak defender that Chris will put out there on the floor for Tech. You got a great point guard play, and you got a lot of experience. It's a good basketball team. They're going to have their work cut out for them here tonight against Kansas State, who's playing really well.
They try the lob. Wainwright with enough defense, and the talented freshman Zaire Smith. That might be the most impressive part of this game, is the way K-State has been defensively. Kamau Stokes injured, missing a lot of time. Back on the floor now for K-State after missing 7 games. And he can do this. That's way off.
Right where he left off. But it's going to be a process, and that's part of the reason Bruce Weber is going to ease him into it. 10 minutes against West Virginia, 14 against Texas. Had 7 assists in those 24 minutes. But doesn't necessarily have his legs yet. It's more important that Cam Stokes is ready, Mitch, at the last week of February down the final stretch of the regular season.
Brandon Francis, the Florida transfer, hits a badly needed shot for Tech. That ends a 3.5-minute drive for the Red Raiders.
And we talked about no drop-off from Tech defensively. When Chris Beard goes to the bench, they can score too. His bench averages over 30-point game, and Francis, a guy that can hit some shots.
Hamilton steps out into 3. The 17th make of the year from 3-point range for the DePaul transfer.
Case in point right there. I mean, these guys play with tremendous confidence. Chris Beard, he does a nice job communicating to his players, giving them confidence to go make plays, but also making them understand what's a good shot within their own individual games.
Brown has missed 2 threes, and Wade missed a mid-range shot. K-State on their dry spell now, and Evans can give Tech the lead. And take a look at him, folks. If you haven't studied Keenan Evans, a 4-time Big 12 Player of the Week, 2nd in the league in scoring at 18 points a game.
And last year, 3rd-team All-Big 12 player. But with Tech faltering in February and not making the tournament, not a lot of eyes were on him. And then you look at the point guards the Big 12 had last year. Pros and Frank Mason, Juwan Evans, and Monte Morris.
A 10-2 run, and now a drive and a foul.
Either hand. You saw right there going the offhand, absorbing contact, and then getting it to go softly.
They beat the University of Texas, one of their 3 road wins in the league this year.
He has got to continue to look to do that more tonight, even though they're playing a good defensive team in Tech, Mitch.
With Stokes back now, K-State with neither one of these coaches are afraid to play their benches either. I mean, there's not just Brown would be the one who's grinded a lot of minutes.
Now, having Stokes back has certainly helped the minutes load that Brown has had to play.
And Wade at the rim, he comes out on the dribble. How many guys can do that right now in the country? He defends the rim, brings it on the dribble, and does this.
Two-way player. Again, size, skill, intellect.
Snead's turnover leads to a breakout in the Athletic. Culver can't finish. And Texas Tech loses a great opportunity. And Culver with the block.
Offensively, all 3 of those coaches at their respective programs, good spacing, ball movement, hard cuts, screens, and just as important as anything else, which sounds simplistic, I think it's difficult for some coaches to do this. Keep the guys shoot it, Mitch, and everybody knows their roles.
And I know, save the emails, because you're going to say, well, wait a minute, UVA just lost in overtime to Buzz Williams and the Virginia Tech Hokies. Oh, and Purdue lost at Michigan State. Okay, then who wants to play them tomorrow? Carolina, they won at State today. This one's on ESPN and the ESPN app.
When you talk, again, going back, when you talk about those coaches and those programs right now, I mean, it begins and ends on the defensive end. I mean, the toughness, tenacity, and all the way through the play, not just when the shot goes up, but finishing the play. They're all good defensive rebounding teams. You know, defense will stretch out leads, and it'll also buy you time when you're struggling on the offensive end. And we've seen that a lot with Texas Tech this year. We've had several double-digit backs because they were able to get enough stops to buy their offense time to get those little mini runs when they've needed them.
And K-State might be a year behind Tech because they got a group of juniors that have played together, including Dean Wade and Barry Brown. But right now, they're on par with Tech and even better, leading by 5.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is being old and experienced.
This is the land of 1,000 transfers in college basketball, and there's the creativity.
He does such a nice job of making a counter move. And in the last 3 games, if you look against Barry Brown, Kansas, West Virginia typically has. But he's had 14 assists in the last 3 games. And Bruce Weber talked to us about that earlier today, how he said, hey, Barry, the book is out. So you've got to be able to drive, but against these good defensive teams, look to create for your teammates as well. And so although he hasn't scored as much lately, he's been producing buckets in other ways for K-State.
He's still averaging 19 points a game in Big 12 play. And second in the league in steals to Javon Carter. Stevenson hunting that one. They want him going to the basket more than launching threes. Mayween with positioning. And big time hustle from senior Justin Gray for Tech. Had his best game here 2 years ago, Gray. 23 points and 8 rebounds for the Red Raiders. Stevenson eaten by Wade inside.
Media timeout coming up. Good time to get him a little blow.
Yeah, his timeout, though, will be the lifespan of a tsetse fly. Here's what Tech was working on today on trap. So Beard, and now Tech with a casual turnover here. But they dodge a dart. Tech was working on trapping on the half court to try to get K-State out of its sets. And a 3, Tommy Hamilton. His second 3-point make of the half.
Well, Hamilton showed when he was at DePaul, Mitch, that he could shoot the 3. He made 49 threes in the last 2 seasons there. He's got number 17 and 18. Ability to knock down the shot. He really gives Chris Beard about 15 really
screens.
And a little bit of comfort in that for Mayween as you get Love in the game, who had 6 points at Texas. Gave Bruce Weber some really good minutes.
Well, Tommy Hamilton has 8 of Tech's 18 points out of the highly regarded Whitney Young High School program in Chicago.
We went right at Love when he entered the game. Love trying to defend out on the perimeter. And then Hamilton using his skill set at 6'11" to take him off the bounce.
Jada in trouble. This is off his Tech. Brendan Manzer is their bench production.
33 points a game that Texas Tech gets off the bench. And we talked a lot about Hamilton, those 2 threes, and then taking Love off the bounce. There's 8 of them. Francis the other 2. Again, that's what's so nice about this team. You don't know about Texas Tech. They really don't have drop-off at either end of the floor when they go to the bench.
Wade trailing. Good closeout by Zaire Smith because Wade can trigger in that transition 3. Wade didn't rest long, did he? It's going to be an offensive foul on Brown. All right, Monday night at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Big-time women's matchup. Number 4 Louisville takes on number 1 UConn. That'll be at Gampel Pavilion in stores. Huskies have won 16 straight games against the Cardinals. How much has Jada helped this team at point guard for K-State? Having a good game here. He was great against Texas on Wednesday night in Austin. Second time he's rebounded his own miss. Might want to get it out of there or score or miss. Another rebound. Ja had 3 offensive rebounds on 1 possession. That's your point guard. And speaking of point guards, comes back and scores. He's got 5.
I kept waiting for Jada to make a bucket so I could answer your question. Nice finish right there from Evans. Now, Jada, remember, he's a redshirt freshman, so just like a true freshman thrown in the fire. But I tell you what, he makes good decisions. He doesn't take bad threes. He gets K-State in its offense and does a lot of little things for K-State.
K-State has missed its last 7 threes. And Brown will get free throws.
K-State leads the league in steals, and Barry Brown most of the time is somehow involved in that.
The other thing is out.
Now the downside is they are relying upon those turnovers because they are, K-State, last in the big conference in league games in field goal percentage defense. They don't necessarily have that rim protection, so when you get out in pressure, and these good guards in this league get beyond that in the pressure, you know, there's options on the back end.
Back-to-back steals for K-State. 6 turnovers for Tech.
Look, Bruce Weber talking to officials about a potential foul right there. Look, Wainwright got hit on the arm.
Brown a little sped up.
Typically really good at it. They don't get anything. Texas Tech communicates, continuing to rotate. Able to knock the ball out of bounds and reestablish their defense right here.
Wade's going to the line.
Put pressure on Tech defensively. But you can see when Wade is down there, there's to keep Wade moving in the interior, make him difficult to guard as you try to get him the ball.
Bragging on Wade that he does everything. You go, well, how did you do it? Well, he's 77% in Big 12 play at the line, although he goes 1 for 2 there. He only had 1 free throw attempt on the loss at Tech, though. I thought it was a big deal. He could not get to the line and love it. Tech did a great job on it. He's staying a little zone here, it looks like.
And Tech, not a good job of recognizing it and getting into it. Keenan Evans not in the game right now.
K-State hasn't had a field goal in the last 6:30. They lead by 1 over the 7th-ranked team in the country.
And after that possession, where's Chris Beard go? Sends Keenan Evans to the scores table.
Shot clock a factor, and Tech just
are his 5 points on just 3 field goal attempts. But when he's had those runs, it's been because he's getting things moving to the basket. He shoots nearly 60% inside the arc. And he's also, think about this, a number of times. He nor his teammates have been yet. And that's a credit to K-State defensively. But they've got to stay true to that because when Tech and Evans are at their best offensively, he's going to work and able to get angles.
But Brendan, he had 38 points against Texas on 13 shots. He got to the line 20 times in that game.
Get to the line and
points of the game. He's like a closer in baseball. Love this kid's game and his toughness. And Culver, the talented freshman, Zaire Smith.
Culver, I mean, his versatility, really at both ends. Offensively, he has handles. He's great in transition. He'll be a guy as his career progresses, he can get his own shot.
K-State is 0 for its last 8 and leads by 2. They haven't had a field goal for over 7 minutes. Brown a little wincing as he thought that was down. Remember, Jada had 4 of those misses, I think, by himself on 1 possession.
Texas Tech knows all the movement on the weak side. Bodies moving constantly. There's a little theatrical effect from Zaire Smith. But this is the thing with Tech. They've really struggled on the offensive end. Big time. Yet they're only down 2 on the road.
But how many teams, if they can't make shots, their defense is just a wreck on the other end. These guys, give them 0 and they'll play. They'll just take 0 points and guard all night.
And they have length everywhere. I mean, they're not big at the 4 and 5. But 1 through 4, you're talking 6'4", 6'5" guys with length to contest the 6'10" Dean Wade right there. Really smooth on that fadeaway from about 12, 15 feet.
First field goal for K-State in over 8 game minutes. Stevenson
basically give himself an interior post touch in that mid-post area. And then he's got such a soft shot. And at 6'10", most players
for him 20-plus games prior to the game the other night. A double bonus here now for Wade. And he exploded Oklahoma State. Even at Tech, on 12 shots, they lose at Tech, but he had 14 points in that game.
Your good players at the highest level of college basketball are the ones that when conference play comes, Mitch, they raise the level of their game. And so that's one of the reasons it tells me that Dean Wade is playing at such a high level. His numbers are up in this league where every night you're playing against somebody who's good. There's no gimmies, as we all talk about. He's averaging 20 a game in league play.
Zaire Smith
at the foul line. I've not been able to convert this 1 of 3. Missed the front end of a 1-on-1 last time, but adjustments within the game. Settling for 3s earlier. Offense not running well for Chris Beard. Let's make adjustment. Let's get some things moving towards the basket.
That's why they're also in the category of comparison with Virginia and Purdue, 2 very, very smart teams.
Typically, that's associated with experience, right? It should be.
That and good coaching. Should be off Wade. It's going to be 2 bonus distance.
Both these teams defend the 3 really well. And the biggest reason is they do such a good job defensively of being there on the catch.
Ooh, that's a tough by Jared Culver. The Lubbock native. At 20 against TCU last Saturday and 16 Wednesday against Iowa State, and nails the 3 to tie the game at 27.
Understand the intensity needed. That has not been an issue for those 2.
So again, K-State can take this down almost all the way to the end. There's just a 1.1 second differential. And Jada launches. Play. Jada looked like he maybe settled for the 3 and quick.
Yeah, not typically something he has done since he's started at point guard.
And now K-State at the buzzer. And will be tied at
a volume shooter. And so 2 tremendous defensive efforts by both Texas Tech and K-State in the first half.
K-State finished the first half 1 of 12 from the field and missed their last 9 threes. Evans using the angle and his strength to get the first second half 2 and Tech back in the lead.
And notice how Evans ended up isolated on that wing by himself, overloaded on the left side, and allowed him again to turn the corner and get something going to the basket where he's at his greatest.
Good hands by Odiase. And a block by Cartier-Jada. Texas Tech. One thing K-State has prevented is the transition points. They got down, they were outscored 15-2 early in transition points at Tech and never recovered.
And that's why taking care of the basketball is so important.
Made that three in
very many shots, certainly in the half court defensively, from either one of these teams, Mitch, where it hadn't been highly contested. Those jumpers.
A reminder, Cavaliers and Celtics coming up tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern. LeBron and the Cavs against Kyrie Irving and the Celtics for the third time this season. Coverage begins NBA Countdown, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app. Going to the lane, you better lace them up because you're going to get hit both ways.
Well, the weak side help is so good for both these teams. I mean, if you get around that first line of defense, whereas against other people, you can get to the rim.
Maybe a year behind them, but they do similar things. And then White Tech is comparison with the other top 10 brethren that plays this way in Virginia and Purdue. Far out that time, Mayween. Odiase's doing a great job on Dean Wade.
A terrific defense right there.
And Odiase left K-State one of the few breakdowns defensively so far in the game, and Tech has its first 2-possession lead of the game.
And that's what getting stops does. And we haven't talked much about this, Mitch, is that Texas Tech gets as many one-and-dones as anybody in the league, meaning they are terrific defensive rebounding ball club. That allows them to get out and push a little bit. And in the broken floor, you find Odiase the last possession.
K-State has missed 16 of the last 17. You know, Tubby Smith really started this group. We got to give Tubby credit now at Memphis. But what a great hire by Chris Beard to keep the same philosophy in West Texas.
I remember when those guys were freshmen, talking to Coach Tubby Smith. Justin Gray, Zach Smith, who's hurt. Senior Keenan Evans, Odiase. He said these are guys you can grow with. Chris Beard.
Chris Beard, his team, if they win tonight, in first place all by themselves in the Big 12. And Evans robbed that thing halfway down. And Jada turns it over. Evans with the good hands off the deflection. Attacks on Wade and scores. Boosters of these two schools. If it's football games at Tech, they do it in Lubbock. In Manhattan, they do it here. And a 3-play now completed by Keenan Evans. And he's in double figures with 10. And Tech now has a lead of 7 points. And here's Lunardi's projections. Tech right now is a 2 seed. The nation needs to get ready for Texas Tech if they don't know about them already.
And this is where Kansas State extending leads.
Snead will get a pair. 84% at the line for the season. That's a 6th lead. Tech's outscored him 34-21 since then. And a nail, the third of the game by Tommy Hamilton.
And what's happening is Bruce Weber, and it worked in the first half for the most part. And because of the motion and constant movement of all 5 offensive players for Tech, K-State switching screens, and there was confusion from Kansas State between Stokes and a teammate, and that leaves Livingston wide open at the top of the key.
C matchup, 7 Eastern. Notre Dame had a win today over Florida State. Matt Farrell, career high 28. They'll take on number 21 North Carolina. Carolina won at State today. This one's on ESPN and the ESPN app.
And the switching against the motion of Tech. The first half causing some confusion, and Evans right there just making a play away from the ball. And you have to wonder, K-State doesn't always switch everything. That's something unique to combat Tech and their motion offense here tonight. Remember, in the first half, as a coach, your defense is in front of you, so it's easier to communicate. And I wonder if the second half, the defense being the other end of the floor, has had any effect on K-State and being in the right assignment.
Has Tech though tweaked something in the motion offense here? Some countermeasures here in the second half?
Yeah, one of the things, they're getting Evans away from the ball. And we heard Chris Beard talk about this earlier. Don't try to get something right off the bat, Keith. Get us in our offense, and then when it comes back to you, go make a play, because some contact, and Tech's bench sensing an opportunity to blow this game wide open
for the second half. Evans has scored 10 points in the second half. Got 15 for the game.
And it's not settling for the three like a lot of players do. He has great poise and patience. Let the game come to him.
K-State just so struggling on the offensive end. Finally, field goal from the Bramlage Coliseum crowd.
When he got the ball inside Mitch, he's got Keenan Edmonds on him. He just needs to catch and go right over his left shoulder. He put the ball on the deck, and it allowed Texas Tech, and it was Hamilton, to come over and help.
In the first half, he did that exact thing there with Evans on him. Evans got kicked by his own teammates.
Something right there.
You know what I like about Evans, or what Chris Beard is doing with Evans? He's not grinding him into the ground. He plays 29 minutes a game. So just right now, he gets a chance to give him a little bit of a
length and are solid. And then offensively, all his players know who they are. Now, nobody's Keenan Evans, but nobody's also trying to go out there and be that when he's out of the game. So they make good decisions while he's getting his rest. It's an easy one for Stevenson. This Texas Tech team, Mitch, coming into the game, they have taken 62 charges on the year. 62.
Must have lead the universe. Gray, he's turned into more of a rebounder defender than a scorer. Remember, he had 23 here. Wade trying to stop. And Tech, again, defensively, just superb.
Wade had him dead to rights down there, and Wainwright just hurried it a little bit too much. Wade running the motion offense. You're not asking your point guard.
42 to 23 since the first 2 minutes of the game. Smith. Stop. Played a lot in that last year. And now his son plays for Texas Tech. If you're a K-State fan and you remember Billy Ray Smith, yeah, this is his several weeks. But you know, Mount Rushmore can sometimes have just one face or two. Sharon deserves to be on there. But one of the greatest coaches of any sport ever.
You know, I love seeing him here at the basketball games, and I often wonder if he were a basketball coach, he would probably coach and play a lot like these two teams play. Hard-nosed defense, get the ball to the for Wade, and that's an advantage over Justin Gray.
Wade's first, Comes at 12:35 to go in the game.
I've talked a lot about how good Tech has been defensively and bought them time in the first half. That's what K-State now has to do. They have to, right here, next 4 or 5 minutes, as you get to the latter part of this game, they have to find a way to get a series of stops.
Trinity Valley Community College in Texas.
I'll tell you what, Mitch, if there were ever small ball, it would be this right now. Guards in the game, and they have for several minutes. K-State playing small too with Wade at the 5.
But this is where they're doing such a good job. Kansas State thought they had an advantage if Tech went small and Wade was essentially the only big on the floor.
But the quickness and being in the correct position defensively for Tech has really thrown Wade off a little bit.
Jada late with the pass. Evans, this would be big. Snead, long, deep 3, and that's Snead's first field goal.
The hole quick, and that's on Barry Brown, one of the best defenders one-on-one on the perimeter in the Big 12 Conference, and that's how good Evans is. If he were a running back and he were getting handoffs, and Mitch, you know football much better than I do, you would see him hit the hole quick because he does not hesitate. When that is open, boom, he is straight to the rim and terrific at it.
So K-State hit a 3 and then a foul on Tech, and now it scores. That's 5 unanswered points, and Tech never got to touch the ball.
More assertive from Wade right there. No hesitation. Catches, makes his move much quicker.
Again, a 3 was made by Snead, and Brandon Francis fouled after the shot. K-State then gets possession and scores. Tech needs this from Culver. Tough by the freshman, Jarrett Culver. His first second half, 2. And his brother, a 2-time NCAA indoor high jump champion, would love that play.
Young guy's not afraid to go make a play, huh?
Stokes still struggling. Goes with an open floor turnover, and it leads to that. That's the other freshman, Zaire Smith.
Well, and Stokes, you can tell he's not quite himself yet, but he let Keenan Evans just take that from him. And then in Culver to Smith, little freshman to freshman. Awareness where each other were.
Uses the left fake. And he's got his first field goal since he came back from his injury. 0 for in the first 2 games, 0 for tonight until that one.
Yeah, maybe that gets him a little bit of confidence in terms of shooting.
Again, he missed 7 games after being injured at Tech. Stevenson finds Smith. Back-to-back dunks by Zaire Smith. Had a career high 21 Wednesday night against Iowa State, and now Smith is fouled.
Rule, their drive first. And Stevenson, opportunity there, draws help, and they get the dunk. And this is not a team that for very long, it might happen in short stretches during a game, but for not very long, they don't settle for jumpers. Weak side help in a zone, obviously, versus a man. But I'm certainly not suggesting that now from K-State. You're down 10 with under 9 minutes left.
Tech has struggled at the line. They haven't had a lot of chances. They're 7 of 12 at the foul strip. A couple second half misses here have kept K-State in the game. Smith is going nuts. He's now got 11 and 7 in the second half and 6 in a row for Tech. from a bicycle spurt. And here comes Keenan Evans.
Into Dean Wade. And as it goes to him, look at all the Tech players shaded to.
All 5 guys will give you a toothache defensively. And this guy 20 against Texas and 10 of 10 in an earlier win over Boston College.
Mitch, to be good defensively, you have to spend time at it. I mean, every coach in the very least is going to talk about it, and I think believes in its importance. But are you willing to take your practice time and spend a majority of it on the defensive end? And that's what Chris Beard and Texas Tech does. I mean, they are terrific. Look at that one-on-one containment. Nothing but jumpers.
Barry Brown, rough night, just 7 points for Barry Brown. And to your point, how many times you watch a summer league game when you see teams play defense like this? I mean, it is a learned trait, and there have to be willing participants. And Tech's got every guy on the floor.
Sometimes that's not going to do it, Mitch. I mean, you have to continue to work your offense and provide it the opportunity of what you have an offense for is a build-up. Ball movement, screening, sharp cuts. When you play Tech, they take everything away, and they're so disciplined. There's discipline defensively to a man as any team in the Big 12 this season. I mean, I'm really impressed. They stay down, and there's really no weak link.
And toughness. And again, they were winless on the road last year in the Big 12. This would be their 4th league road win if they pull this off. And now a shot clock violation.
In the first half, K-State shoots 30%. 30%. Much of the same here in the second.
Snead in rhythm from 3. Too strong as K-State now is grasping. Texas Tech outscoring K-State here 14-1 off turnovers. And Hamilton's in another 3. That's 4 made threes tonight for Tommy Hamilton, the DePaul transfer.
And that's a huge basket. But those 2 threes he had in the first half when Tech could not score. Deep towards the basket, and that allows Hamilton the wide open spot up 3.
Hamilton's got his 4th foul. K-State running out of time under 6 minutes. And of course, Keenan Evans is out there like the veteran quarterback in football, just like I'll drive the car home.
No need to be in a hurry right here if you're Tech.
Again, similar to Virginia and to Purdue. 4-year seniors, a 4-year junior, and then 2 really talented athletic freshmen. Tech turnovers, but so far it hadn't bit them. Shot is going to the line. K-State's
6th steal of the game. And again, they're so dependent on that. They're great at it to manufacture it, and they're not a great rebounding team either. And that's another way that you can manufacture it.
Second chance points, and yeah, that's not their deal. Interesting, you see the 6 and 5 in their schedule in the league in the graphic. They've lost all 5 games to the teams in front of them in the standings. And they had their front loaded the way this has turned out. They're going to be done with Tech, Kansas, and West Virginia tonight. As they find the last 6 games of the year, they're undefeated against those teams. They're 6-0 against the 6 teams they have left. Colt dagger, 1 second on the shot clock. Poised by a freshman.
Yeah, just like you drew it up, right?
Got to get real active.
The ball, mentioned that earlier on his 3-point shot. Really poised freshman.
Status. Kansas losing today at Baylor. Oklahoma lost at Iowa State, and Westford lost at home to Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, they're difficult to figure out.
Here you go. Tech wins. They got it all by themselves with 6 games to go in the regular season. And everybody in the world knows that Kansas has won or tied 13 straight Big 12 titles. Wow. How many guys in the country can hit that shot in that circumstance?
And that's what's nice about having Evans. He can manage the game down the stretch. Just put it in his hands. And Mitch, he can milk that shot clock, and he's going to get you some kind of look.
Culver sneaks off the edge of the plank. K-State thought they had the trap they wanted. Evans has had a lot of deflections here of late. Maybe showing a little fatigue. He's just going to launch it. And a tip. Nobody checks off Justin Gray. And the senior, the 4th-year senior, who has just gutted through his career, gets his first 2 of the game.
He has given up a lot of scoring opportunities in an unselfish way to be a defender and rebounder.
Boy, they have had Barry Brown locked up all night. Just 7 points for Barry Brown, and he has shot 2 of 10 from the field.
They've done a great job of not allowing him to get to the cup. And that's something he's really good at. Finishes either way around the rim. But they have kept him in front and made him a jump shooter here tonight.
And Chada throws the ball away. K-State 3 of 17 from 3. Tech has absolutely just put motor oil all over the ball for K-State in this game.
Yeah, and they just wear you down over time. Frustrates you. Things are made difficult. There it is, Mitch. First and foremost, and I think that Sean Sutton would agree that defensively, this is the ground. And then when you went to the defensively, Oklahoma State didn't have any drop-off. Elite point guard play with John Lucas. You have that with Keenan Evans. The only difference is Oklahoma State had a lot of firepower on the offensive end. I'm not sure Texas Tech has that, but the principles of defense, ball movement, game management certainly would mirror an Oklahoma State team that year.
I'll throw in offensive spacing too, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
And just understanding and the toughness. It's all about toughness now, you know, from here on. From Valentine's Day on, it is all about toughness. And this Tech team is poised to possibly win this league. They'll have a 1-game lead over defeat by winning this game tonight. And K-State, since about the under-16 timeout, has just been frustrated by Chris Beard's team. This will be the first win for Texas Tech in the last 6 years here in Manhattan, and the first time they will have swept K-State since the Big 12 went to a round-robin format.
Hey, and this is a tough place to play. And K-State is a good basketball team, but
Oklahoma, and you got Graham at Kansas, but this guy, I mean, he's a player of the year most places.
And I want to say that this hasn't just happened this year. I mean, what he did last year, he had an excellent season. Tech didn't make the tournament. And then he was the same league as National Player of the Year Frank Mason, Juwan Evans at Oklahoma State, who's a pro, Monte Morris, who's one of the great point guards in the history of college basketball in terms of decision making and wins. And so not a lot of people knew about him other than those of us that are closely tied within the Big 12. And he is an elite playmaking point guard.
K-State looking at their season low. They had just 51 points. A weakened senior group, and Odiasi's a 4th-year junior because he had the injuries. These guys have grown into what this team has become.
And remember 2 years ago, they got into the NCAA tournament, so they tasted it. And Evans not only wants to get back there with his teammates, but they want to make a run. And the way that they have played this season and tonight gives you the sense that